Good evening. Tonight, live on Crimewatch, the launch of the biggest manhunt since the kidnap of Stephanie Slater. Following a trail of abductions that started in 1982, police are asking every man and woman in the country to help them catch a rapist.
We've also the latest on the murder of the 12-year-old refugee Katerina Koneva, whose killer climbed out of a first-floor window and hijacked a passing car.
Some heroics as people confront gunmen and intervene to try to stop a raid in Lancashire.
And we'll show you a bizarre sequence of events in Surrey which led armed robbers to become their own victims. They almost killed themselves.
You will have seen the headline news about the murder of Katerina Koneva. She was the 12-year-old found strangled after her father disturbed an intruder in their flat. The killer climbed out of a window to escape, and with the father in hot pursuit, he attempted to hijack a car, then a lorry, and then eventually he managed to force the driver of a Fiat Uno to give up her car. Now, this all happened in West London 3 weeks ago. But the police have now found 3 new crucial witnesses, and Hamish Campbell has new information. Now, before you just tell us about the new information, there were an awful lot of witnesses to that chase, and you've got a pretty good description of the killer.
There were a number of witnesses, about 20. The man that we're looking for is in his 45 to 50 years of age, certainly the older man. He's 5'6", no taller than that. He's stocky build, muscular, slightly overweight. He is either bald or a very receding hairline, but at the back and at the sides he has black hair, which is going grey. In addition, he had a cut to his face, some scratches, so witnesses should remember the blood on his face on that time.
Now, you mentioned the 20 witnesses to the chase with the father and the attempts to hijack. Tell us about the new witnesses and what happened there.
The new witnesses, we know he hijacked a car in Trusty Road, and he abandoned that car no more than a quarter of a mile away in the Shepherd's Bush Road, just south of the Shepherd's Bush Green. He tried to get onto a 283 bus, but there was no driver. He came off that bus, he walked quickly across Shepherd's Bush Road, and he got onto a 220 bus about 10 to 5 in the evening. The bus driver remembers he had blood on his face. We know he drove all the way down to Hammersmith, went to the new bus station in Hammersmith Broadway, and got off at bus stop D. And that's the last we've seen of him.
So you need to find people on that bus. What time of day was it?
10 to 5, 5 o'clock it arrived at Hammersmith.
And this is on a Thursday the 22nd of May. So anybody who goes in the 220 around 5 o'clock-ish on a Thursday evening, that bus goes, what, to Hammersmith and then Wandsworth?
And down to Wandsworth, yes. So we're looking for any witnesses on that bus to come forward.
What was this man wearing?
Clothing description indicates he was wearing a suit jacket or a sports jacket, which was greyish in colour, light. Certainly the video picture shows a light jacket and darker coloured trousers.
He seemed to, in the security camera pictures, he seemed to be carrying some sort of bag as well.
He was carrying a bag. He obviously went into the house with the bag and he held onto it throughout the time. He was trying to escape from the building site and in the car. He returned to the car to pick it up. Blue bag or black bag, small in size, A4 size, had possibly some lettering on the side, white.
Okay, there is no known motive for this. It could just be this is a man who wanted to kill someone. Please don't hesitate to call us. 0500 600 600. That's our free call number live here to Mr. Campbell and his colleagues. Or you can call the incident room in Kensington in London. That's on 0181 246 0732. 0181 246 0732.
6 years ago, the police launched one of the largest joint inquiries ever seen when Julie Dart was murdered and the estate agent Stephanie Slater was abducted. In the end, 2 Crimewatch viewers played a crucial role in identifying the culprit, Michael Sams. Well, now we hope you can repeat that success with the launch tonight of Operation Links. Now, the investigation gets its name because it links together Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire and West Yorkshire police in a mission to stop a series of abductions by this man, which had been going on for 15 years. Our reconstruction begins in Leeds on Monday, the 3rd of January, 1983.
My hands and feet were tied and I had a bag, cloth bag over my head, and he just pushed me along.
You hear him now?
And then I hit the water, freezing cold, and I just went under the water. Survival instincts took over then, and I was just trying to swim, and then I got my foot on a ledge and managed to get my chin above the water and freed my hands and took this bag off my face, and when I looked up he was still standing watching me struggling in the water.
He left her in the canal Having raped and tried to kill her, he then drove off in her car and dumped it near Leeds General Infirmary. It was there he'd abducted her 2 hours earlier.
Is this your car, madam?
Yeah, it's mine.
If you don't scream, I won't hurt you. Keep your head down. I need to boil it for 10 minutes. I'm going to Pudsey.
I suppose I just wanted to believe that I went to Pudsey. I kept asking him not to hurt me. I was frightened for my children.
The Leeds Canal was freezing in early January, but she still managed to get out alive and struggled onto Globe Road, where she was rescued by a passing driver. Over the next few days, a stolen credit card was used. This is in Huddersfield.
Now, this one's a Parker fountain pen, and the nib is really unusual.
It cost £20 in 1983, more like £100 today. A substantial gift. Was it for you? There were other gifts to follow. From Mother Care in Huddersfield, women's designer clothes from Leeds, and a child's game, Scramble. 14 years ago, was this toy bought for you? In May next year, 1984, he was in Leicester. Again, a woman was abducted. Again, he drove her vehicle back to near where he'd hijacked it. Was his car parked nearby? This time, he left incriminating evidence, this red and black lace. It's 6 feet long, maybe from a walking boot. After that, for 9 years, until 1993, he seemed to disappear. He next came to light in Nottingham.
I drove down the ramp to the ground floor parking, and I noticed a man walking up the ramp. I was looking straight at him, waiting for him to clear. I would describe him as white, mid to late 30s, thin, gangly build with collar-length dirty blonde hair, slightly receding.
Danny, turn around. Shut up. I need this car. The police are after me. If you say anything, I'll stick this straight through you.
He pushed her into the footwell, eventually drove off fast.
I could see nothing. I was aware that he was driving very erratically. I heard a rattle come on the steering column, which normally happens at 70.
Is this all you've got?
I've got a visa card.
That's no good to me, lassie.
After raping her, he drove back to the city centre, and on the way he stopped to use her cash card while she was still tied up in the boot. Now 1995, and back to Leeds.
I was completing my dissertation and visited the university library. I worked until about 3:30. I walked down to Morrison's buying some shopping and walked back to the multi-storey on Woodhouse Lane. The car was quite warm, so I decided to let some air circulate.
I've got a knife.
He gave me no time to shut the driver's
The police
door.
are after me.
This time he put a substance on the woman's eyes to blind her temporarily. He drove her to the outskirts of the city, sexually assaulted her, and then drove back again. And once more he left his victim by the Leeds Canal on Globe Road, where 12 years previously he tried to kill someone.
Eventually, he got out of the car. Then I rubbed my eyes against the corner of the seat.
Well, as we said, a hugely important inquiry combining 3 forces, and the hunt is being coordinated by Assistant Chief Constable Lloyd Clark of West Yorkshire Police. Now, these attacks go back 15 years. The last one was 2 years ago. Why now are you appealing in such a high-profile way for help?
Well, we now know a lot about this man, and we believe that this man will have committed other offences that might not have been reported to the police. I believe that this man has approached women, either in street parking or in car parks, that he might have attacked them, he might even have abducted and raped other women who have not reported it to the police. We have special trained police officers and we have non-police rape counsellors who can take those calls tonight. So if you think you've been attacked or raped by this man, we need them to ring tonight.
Absolutely. You want as much information as you possibly can have on this man.
Yes.
Now, the 5 that we know of, the 5 women who have been attacked, they've given very good descriptions of him. Of course, his description has changed, his appearance has changed over the years.
Yes, in 1997, we know this man is at least 35 years of age, probably older. He may be in his early 50s. He's of medium build, of medium height, 5'10" to 6'2", and we know that at the times of the offences, he had dirty blonde neck or collar length hair. But more interesting is his accent. It's a discernible accent, and it's been described as Scottish. Now, we know he's said to his victims, lass and lassie. For example, no fast moves, lassie. And we also know that he's emphasised his commands by, do you hear me, do you hear me? You're getting on my nerves, do you hear me? Now, we believe that those characteristics, with the artist's impression, might jog someone's memory. Somebody knows him, please name him for us.
9 years elapsed between some attacks, didn't they? I mean, 84, then you didn't hear of him again until 93. Where could he have been in that time?
Yes, that's right. A lot of explanations, but it's very possible he was in prison, perhaps serving a long prison sentence, for other than sexual offences. We know this man is a thief, he steals things, we know he steals cars. So prison officers, other members, probation officers, other members of the judicial system who he may have come into contact, if they think they know him, we need them to ring us and name him, please.
And we know as well that he stole credit cards, with which, of course, he used one of them in January 83, wasn't it? To buy various gifts in Huddersfield and Leeds.
That's right.
As we saw, this Parker pen, Falcon pen.
Yes. These are very distinctive items. And again, these items, together with the artist's impression, together with what we know about this, we hope that'll jog someone's memory to ring us with a name.
Cast your mind back. It is 15 years ago, but if you were given this game, this scramble game, or that distinctive pen, you know, it may have come from the man. Now, what are you saying to a wife or a partner who perhaps thinks, yes, possibly it is? What other characteristics should she look out for?
Well, we believe he may have had a wife, he's spoken of a wife, and then an ex-wife. If he has been in that kind of stable relationship, he'll have been dominant, he'll have been aggressive. It's very likely he will have verbally and physically, probably sexually abused that partner. He even have raped her. Now, recognising how difficult that is for a partner to ring us, we do want you to ring us in confidence, please.
And it's very important as well, because you have forensic evidence. You just want names because you can eliminate people who don't fit the bill.
Yes, we can positively eliminate from this enquiry anyone who might be suggested. So please, it's vitally important. All we need is a name. Please ring us with that name.
Thank you very much indeed. Please, that's like all I can reiterate. If you were attacked by this man, or you've been approached by him, or you think you know him, if you saw anything that with hindsight, I know it was a few years ago, but that might be linked to this series of abductions, you can reach us here live now. The number is 0500 600 600 and it's free. And there are more detectives waiting now at the incident room in Nottingham on 0800 515 445. That's a free call number as well, 0800 515 445. And as we said, there are counsellors there if you have been attacked and that you're now prepared to talk to someone. Please, it's vital to stop this man.
We began last month by saying
Almost a third of the crimes we're about to show you will be solved because of calls tonight.
in fact, last month's viewers created some spectacular results. First, the sex attack in Hemel Hempstead. You may recall the reconstruction. 2 young women had been frightened by someone late at night. They then saved a shop assistant from being raped.
It's that girl. No, it's not. It's just a kid.
It is her!
200 people rang us, and the witness we described in the woolly hat came forward, and as a result, a man has now been charged with attempted rape. Viewers helped trace another man wanted for a sex offence. He's been found in Ireland. He's now facing extradition proceedings. Yet another man has been charged with indecent assault after a viewer saw his picture on last month's programme. 2 men were recognised from a video we showed. They've both been charged with wounding. There were 3 arrests for deception, too, within hours of the programme. A man and a woman, as a result, are awaiting trial. They were spotted by Crimewatch viewers. And a few days ago, we learned another man has now been arrested. And as a result of a previous Crimewatch programme, a man and woman have been charged with theft and deception. Now, on the track of a gang of robbers, here's Detective Constable Jackie Haynes.
In fact, some of them are little more than children. Time and again, a group of teenagers has been attacking building societies in the West End of London. Here they are, going into a branch in Holborn. And here they are, coming straight out again. If you want to know why their visit was so brief, now watch a camera inside the building. The cashier had spotted them, and the boy leaping over the counter was lucky not to be crushed by the phenomenal speed of the bandit scream. Here are some of the close-ups of the gang. This one looks only 14, or perhaps he's even younger, and this one's not much older. His jacket has a distinctive Snoopy logo printed all over it. And here's another boy. Incidentally, this is 2:30 on a Wednesday, so some of them must have been bunking off school. If you know them, please give us a call, 0500 600 600, or ring the incident room on 0171 486 1212. That's 0171 486 1212. Incidentally, a crime prevention message. We've lots of video of these boys, which could have been much clearer. If you own a security camera, please make sure your installers have done a proper job and that you can identify people's faces. Otherwise, your investment may well be a waste of money.
Now, you so often hear of crimes where no one intervened, where people just walk past, although someone is obviously in danger. But equally on Crimewatch, we get to hear about a lot of heroism as well, and we're about to show a dramatic example of that. The scene is a cash-in-transit depot in Preston in Lancashire. Now, undeterred by gunfire and an explicit attempt to kill them, 2 men were determined to stop a robbery.
You watching United tonight? Simon's gone down to Sellers.
I like working with Archie. He's been there since day one. He's a good lad, and yet a bit quiet, but I like working with him.
You use any more brain cells? You'll have none left. He's all right, will you?
That evening, they finished work shortly after 7 o'clock.
See you Thursday night, then?
Thursday, no, I can't. I said I'd go and see the folks this week. So.
All right, see you.
All right, take care.
There's no reason why the 2 men should have paid any attention to this car, a silver Toyota Land Cruiser, but it had been stolen a week before, 10 miles away in Chorley. Two days later, a few miles away, the same car was seen, and this time with a driver.
He was 6 foot tall, with silver grey collar-length hair. I thought he was perhaps delivering some parcels, but as the car was there several days later, we thought he perhaps wasn't a delivery man.
This is the next day in the same road.
As I was walking up the road, a silver car pulled up. I think the driver had short, dark, wavy hair, aged about 20 to 25 years, and the passenger is about 5'11", with collar-length, mousy brown hair.
A few hours later, still in Preston, but now on the Moornook estate near the M6, just north of the Blackburn turnoff. This man was disturbed by the behaviour of a group of men who arrived in a Volvo estate. He remembers one man well.
He was about 5'11", slim. He had a round face, like baby face. He was in his late teens. He had a black jacket on, black hat.
4 or 5 others from the Volvo were now standing near a footbridge that crosses the M6.
Something wasn't right, that car being there, and the way they was acting, it's obvious they didn't want me to get a good look at them.
Oddly, this flashing lamp was now on the motorway bridge. Perhaps it was a signal.
It had been quite a hard day. We got back to the depot and unloaded.
You can get a 4 march, I'll park up.
Right. Cheers, Doug.
Yeah, mate.
You know.
Another security van was just reversing into the depot to begin unloading its cash.
No!
Once inside the depot, the robbers started a violent attack. But outside, Doug and Archie attempted to block them in.
Then I saw him pull the trigger, but nothing happened. And I thought, God's on my side tonight. And he tried to eject the bullet, which he was having difficulty in doing. I'm still a little bit scared, thinking that he's going to shoot us.
Despite the shooting, Doug and Archie manoeuvred to block the robbers' getaway, but the Land Cruiser came out just in time to find a gap and bulldozed its way through it.
So I turned to Archie and I said, I'll bet the bastards have gone on to exchange vehicles. Archie then jumped in the driver's seat and went the other way round the estate.
Take your right, Arch. Quicker, quicker. That's them! Ram them! Get on the radio! Let's get on the radio! Okay.
The Land Cruiser was damaged in the collision, but the security van weighs 7 tons and got bogged down in mud. The gang escaped across fields down a prepared route to the M6.
I was driving home from work and I was getting ready to come off at the Blackburn turn-off. The next thing, I noticed 3 lads running down the embankment of the motorway. All 3 got into the back seats of this car. They then sped off at great speed right in front of me. Then they were off into the distance.
The depot was quite a mess. There could have been a death or even 2 deaths. The guys in the vault was absolutely petrified. And I can understand because I would have been in the same position.
You best get on the phone to Amanda. You got the number? Yeah. Come on, let's get out of here.
I could see that he was deeply shocked. He was deeply frightened. Yeah, I could see the state that he was in through his eyes, that being so frightened, because you don't know what these villains are going to do. And apparently they're not bothered in hurting people. They're not bothered.
Yeah, it's tight sod. I've one of mine.
Well, Detective Chief Inspector John Thornley, perhaps the key to this is jogging some memories of several stolen vehicles that were seen in that reconstruction there. The Toyota Land Cruiser, what do we know about that, first of all?
The Toyota Land Cruiser was stolen 2 weeks before the robbery, and during that period, the 2-week period, the offenders had sprayed the roof of the vehicle with matte black paint. They'd also taken the 3rd row of seats out of the vehicle and discarded those at Park Hall Leisure Centre near Chorley.
Now, this is where another of the cars had been stolen from.
Yes,
in December.
That's right. That's very significant because the Volvo, the final getaway car, that Volvo estate car, was stolen from Park Hall Leisure Centre in the middle of December. That vehicle had in fact been outstanding for 2 months prior to the robbery, and we know it's covered in excess of 1,300 miles, so the robbers had obviously used that vehicle as a means of transport before the robbery.
And they'd abandoned that, I think, at a farm just nearby the site of the robbery?
Well, that was abandoned at Friar House Farm, which is just off the A49, which is the main Preston to Wigan Road. It's quite apparent that having abandoned the Volvo, they transferred to another vehicle, but with no details of that and no sightings of that. And that's one of the things we're appealing for tonight.
On the night of the 11th of February, did you see any activity around that area?
That's right. It's a busy road, and that was a time of night when there would be a lot of traffic about.
Now, have you a hunch as to where these men come from?
Well, that's right. I mean, it is my view that the offenders come from Liverpool. We've already received some information that's being pursued down in Liverpool. And I would like to emphasise that there's a £25,000 reward on offer for information leading to the arrest and conviction of these men, and that reward may be substantially increased if the quality of information we receive tonight is good.
And you do have forensic evidence again, which means that you can eliminate potential...
That's correct, yes. All we need is some information as to the identity of the offenders, and then we'll pursue it from there on.
John Thornley, thank you very much indeed. Well, if that reward is a temptation, or if you know who did it, please call 0500 600 600 is the free call number here, or try the incident room in Preston. 1772, the code for Preston, 410828. And now with a murder, here's Superintendent David Hatcher.
Gangster movie from the days of Al Capone. One man shot dead in a nightclub and 4 others injured. But it wasn't in Chicago in the 1920s. This was in Camberwell in southeast London just 3 months ago. A man we would like to speak to is called George Ovige Caporo. You'd recall him if you'd seen him. He's known as Sky because he's so tall. In fact, he's a towering 6'7" and he weighs around 20 stone. As I say, you wouldn't miss him. 0500 600 600 or try the incident room on 0181 853 1212. That's 0181 853 1212. And this is Robert Flanagan, known to his friends as Bob. Now if he offers you a lift, I'd turn him down. He's been charged with drink driving and running down a policeman. In fact, the officer was so badly injured he'll never work again. And Robert Flanagan was charged with grievous bodily harm. Take a good look at him. He's 30, medium build, blue eyes, and if he hasn't dyed it, brown receding hair. He used to have a ponytail and a beard, though of course he might not have them now. 0500 600 600 or call the Port of Dover police on 01304 211 059. That's Dover 211 059.
Let me bring you up to date some of the calls we've had so far. Firstly on Operation Links, about the series of rapes that have been going back for something like 15 years. We've had 47 calls here so far. 24 names been issued to us. 2 names have come up twice. We're pretty sure we found 2 other women who have been victims of this man. 2 prison officers suggesting names, interesting calls from police officers as well. A huge response and some pretty good news on Katerina Caneva as well. More on that in a moment. And now to Jackie Hames with some video taken on a London railway station.
In fact, it's on the Thameslink section of King's Cross. Railtrack have good cameras on part of their network and they're effective in deterring crime. But on Valentine's Day, that was Friday the 14th of February, 2 young men seemed to feel left out when they saw romantic couples on the platform. Police had noticed the lads from the start as they seemed aggressive. And here they are on the platform just before a terrible unprovoked attack on a man sitting with his girlfriend. The girlfriend was also injured. Please call us if you recognise them. They're both in their mid-20s. The blonde one's 5'10". His pal is slightly shorter and fatter. They're dangerous. Other innocent people will get hurt if you don't call. 0500 600 600 or try 0171 957 1123. That's 0171 957 1123. Now to a man who's big on hygiene. If you have commercial premises near Sheffield, you may have been approached by him to sell you towels, soap dispensers, hair dryers and anything else for your washroom. Paul John Newell is 32, 5'10", medium build with short dark hair. He's originally from London but is a keen Sheffield United supporter, or at any rate he was. He hasn't been seen for months. It turns out he may have been involved in quite a substantial fraud, so do call us if you know where he is now. 0500 600 600 or 0121 626 5550. That's 0121 626 5550.
A bit more about results from last month now. We've just heard that a man has been arrested for a rape we featured. You may remember we spoke to a victim in the studio last month and more hopefully on that case next month. We reconstructed the last sightings of Nicola Dixon, who was killed as she walked to meet friends in Sutton Coldfield on New Year's Eve. Well, about 100 viewers rang in, resulting in over 15 new leads. And if anything comes of it, of course, we'll let you know about that. There were also lots of leads on an armed robbery in Sussex. In fact, there were 2 identical hold-ups on the same security guard in Hove. Again, officers are pretty excited because some of the information looks very strong indeed. And some results from previous months. One man has been jailed for 14 years for GBH after detectives used Crimewatch as a last resort to trace him. Well, he was arrested as a direct result the night after our programme last October. And another man has been sentenced to 8 years for attempted rape. He was caught after viewers recognised him in our programme 4 months ago. And now to David Hatcher once again.
First, a man in a travel agency in Chichester on the south coast, and he's using stolen credit cards. The cards are also used in Essex, London and Hampshire. This is in Hammersmith, West London at 6:15 p.m. on Tuesday the 22nd of April. And who's that other man? They're both in their late 20s, about 6 foot with short dark hair. Call us on 0600 600 or 01243 520 229. That's Chichester 520 229. Now, do you like a bet? If so, watch out for this man. He's Anastasius Genovese. He's 61, medium height, almost bald, and has a Turkish accent. You may be able to reduce the odds on a con that's been taking place across 7 police forces. It works like this. A man approaches someone offering a winning betting slip, but says he hasn't time to cash it in. He's got to catch a plane or a train. Instead, he'll give you a ticket for half the winning value. The trouble is, of course, the ticket's a forgery. Don't fall for it, and if you've seen Mr. Genovese, do give us a call on 0500 600 600 or 0113 247 9710. That's Leeds 247 9710.
Now to a remarkable bungle. 2 armed robbers who've probably been involved in several hold-ups in the past. They tried it on again in a hamlet in rural Surrey about a month ago. But as you'll see, almost everything went wrong for them, which is why tonight you might find that you can help identify them.
Hi, Dad. Back again.
Oh, hello. That was quick.
Yeah, the bus didn't show again.
Oh, well, maybe Mum will give you a lift.
Yeah? Is Mum around?
Yeah, go and ask her.
Mum!
It did seem a bit strange because the bus stop's just sort of a few yards further down from where he was standing, and there's sort of no path there, and he was sort of stood on the verge. So it did seem a bit sort of odd.
It'll be a very quiet Friday, exceptionally quiet really for the time of year, and I was quite relaxed and tending to switch off since the end of the day was approaching. I wasn't particularly perturbed about the chap's appearance. I thought I might have seen him before, so he was vaguely, very vaguely familiar. I thought he was just going to be an average type customer.
Like one of those, please. What, Kit Kat or a top?
Shut it, you won't get hurt! What are you doing? Get off! Right. Look, I'm warning you, just keep quiet!
He was about 5'10", 5'11", quite stocky build, appeared to be muscular, about 35 years old, with dark hair, possibly a tinge of grey. We struggled on a bit, and he warned me to keep still, at the same time sprayed me in the face with the CS gas. My greatest concern was my eyesight, and also some had entered through my mouth into my lungs, so my breathing was somewhat restricted.
Get aside!
Well, to begin with, I thought my dad must have dropped something or had fallen over, hit some glass and that, so I came downstairs to find out what had happened.
Keep quiet!
Dad, what's up?
Get the police! Dad, go!
When I first saw them, I'm thinking that I need to get help and fearing for my dad's safety as well as my own, but really about my dad because he was in the position of the gun pointing towards us. I just thought, I need to get the police here.
Yeah, police.
This is getting serious.
There's an armed robbery at the Normandy post office in Glaciers Lane. Yeah.
And I saw him, was surprised to see him there. He's standing quite tall, must be about 6 foot, and he had this dark coloured spiky hair, about an inch or so long. It was short around the sides with sideboards going down about ear length. One thing I remember, he had brown eyes.
Yeah, I'm still here.
And I was thinking, is he going to come after me, fear for my safety? I was thinking, what's going to happen now? And I thought, what's going to happen to my dad?
My dad's in there. They've got a gun. Look, please come quickly, please.
I noticed a car and 2 men rushing towards it. One that was getting into the driver's side was the man I'd seen earlier on the main road.
Somebody stop them! Please, somebody stop them! They're heading up to the crossroads.
and they're crossing over into the Hunt Hill Road. I think it's an A-Reg. You okay? You okay? Because I'm going to call an ambulance for you now, okay? Hello? Yeah, could you send an ambulance round to my dad as well? Yeah, he's been hurt. Thanks. Okay, Dad, listen, I'm going to sit you down. You're going to be okay. That's it, come and sit down.
The two men were last seen staggering off towards the A324 Ash to Purbright Road. Debbie Serple, how badly injured were they?
Well, we don't know, but we believe that there's no way that they got out of that vehicle without having suffered some degree of injury.
The car itself was pretty badly mashed up.
It was indeed. The stolen Sierra was extensively damaged on the driver's side.
So they will have had to seek medical attention. I mean, I know you were telling me earlier that the pedals, the driver's pedals, have been pushed up almost to sort of chest height. Or...
That's correct. They're actually up to knee height. So we're looking at somebody who's probably suffered from leg injuries, and certainly a member of the public has said that they were seen staggering away from the crash, and one of them was holding his injured arm.
So doctors might be able to help, nurses, somebody in casualty. I mean, presumably they could still be injured now, even though this took place, what, it was the 9th of May, wasn't it?
Yes, bearing in mind that they could still be injured. We're obviously appealing to anyone who may know these people, either by recognising the CD fits or who's employed them and they're injured. But in the last month, certainly, I would have thought they would have needed some medical attention.
Very briefly, I know a white car was seen just a few minutes' walk from where they crashed. Tell us about that. I mean, that's a car needs eliminating.
Yeah, some quarter of an hour after the armed robbery took place, a white vehicle was seen parked on the A324 about 3 minutes' walk from the crash. All we know is it's a white saloon-type vehicle.
And there's a Barking connection in East London or Essex?
We believe our armed robbery connects with at least 3 other armed robberies, and the connection is that the vehicles used have all been stolen from the Barking area.
And quick descriptions of the men again?
The descriptions of the male are they're both white, they're both in their 30s, they're both described as having stubbly growth and sideburns, but the man with the gun is 5'10" to 6 foot in height with a muscular build. He's got very short black hair and was carrying a CS gas canister and a matte black automatic pistol. The second male, the driver of the vehicle, was Spanish or Italian in appearance, 5'8" to 5'10", with very short dark hair.
Toby, thank you very much. If you think you know these people, if you came across their injuries, please call us 0500 600 600 or the Incident Room in Guildford, 01483 531111, Guildford 531111. Now, rather less dramatic, but with some treasure, some of which might be yours. Here's an Aladdin's Cave, a collection of recovered property, and to describe it, Eric Knowles.
Question, are you missing your classical hero? Well, I've got one here for you. Personally, I'd feel a little bit daft wearing that fish helmet on my head. But here's another classical study. It's actually a painted terracotta panel, and the caption there is, I think, yes, it's definitely a boy. Well, they do say that good things come in pairs, and it's very much true in the case of this wonderful pair of Georgian silver source boats. I love these dolphin handles, and what's more, they've been cast with teeth. Another pair, in this case, a pair of moonflasks made by Minton, just down the road in Kensington Gore, would you believe it, the late 19th century. But we've got reason to believe that they've been living in Goudhurst in Kent. And what's more, I've got something else to show you in the form of a huge hoard of Russian icons. My particular favourite is St. George and the Dragon. I think in this case the dragon actually looks more like a conger eel. But when it comes to quality, come and have a look at these calendar icons. They're absolutely fabulous. The detail is mind-boggling.
And what's more, they've had a certain amount of restoration in recent times. Now, if you've been responsible for doing that restoration, please get in touch. When it comes to detail, there's none lacking on this particular French ormolu clock, about 1850, 1860. It comes complete with its own cavalier, no less. And also French, a little bit later, a carriage clock. What makes it special, it's got its original fitted travelling case, and on the cover there, a little inscription. So when it comes to Victoriana, they don't come much better than this. A little lady's writing desk, and what's more, it's got a little padded footrest, I think for a pair of, well, I would have thought size 2 shoes. But looking over here, look at this table. Again, if you're watching from Goudhurst, pay special attention. Look at those casters. Porcelain, 1850, 1860, thereabout. A Sutherland table in walnut, and on the top, Scandinavian silver. We're looking for a lot of it. We've got plenty here on the cave. And we've also got Victorian silver. Clifton College, it says, big side run, 1877, P.A.M. Sullivan, and he got a first. Now, we've got variety, and we've also got spice. And here's a lovely little Jewish spice box. So if you're missing the spice in your life, this could well be it. Eric Knowles, The Aladdin's Cave, Shalom. I promised I'd tell you more about the Katerina Caneva. 0500 600, 600 is the number, incidentally. 0500 600 600, or you can call 01242 276 566. That's 01242 276 566. As I said, I was promised to bring you up to date on the Katerina Caneva murder. We've got several names put forward, but above all, we were appealing for people who took the 2:20 bus on a Thursday night on the 22nd of May from Hammersmith to Hammersmith in West London from Shepherd's Bush, maybe on to Wandsworth. We appealed for people who'd been on that bus who might have seen the killer. So far, one more person has come forward who's been on that bus. If you think you might have been, please call us too.
And that's all for this month. Our lines are open until midnight, and the phone numbers are also listed on CFAX page 621. If you have a computer and a modem, you can reach us at Crimewatch UK at the BBC. That's CWUK at bbc.co.uk. And if you've any information on a crime we haven't covered, try Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Well, we'll be back at midnight with an update on tonight's cases. If you can't stay up and keep us company until then, we'll be back next month on Tuesday, July the 8th.
Meanwhile, though tonight we've drawn together some pretty nasty crimes, we hope we're on the way to solving them, so don't have nightmares. Sleep well. Good night.
Good night.